Um, Section 10, that is the legal, regulatory, and organization frameworks for public procurement. Our presenter is Engineer Dr. Michael Lebera. So we'll be looking at Section 10, where we'll be understanding the World Trade Organization Government Procurement Agreement, that is the GPA, and an insight into legal and organizational frameworks, bringing the world closer. So our outline, look at the title, objective, World Trade Organization, history of World Trade Organization. What is GPA? Tendering process, procedures under GPA, deadlines, and conclusion. What are the objectives? The main objective is to understand the provision of GPA, to understand the context for creation of World Trade Organization, and why the government procurement agreement was introduced. Looking at the introduction today, World Trade Organization is a global trade regulation that was established that enforce global trade rules. They engage in trade negotiation, that is, facilitates trade negotiation among member countries. For example, if Nigeria and US are members, they will form as the people like a liaison officer, those who will facilitate trade between US and Nigeria. And also, dispute resolution manages trade disputes to ensure fair play. And also monitoring trade policies, regularly review national trade policies, and so on. And there is also technical assistance and training where they provide support to developing countries for World Trade Organization agreements. And also the incorporation with other international organizations, whereby they collaborate with the IMF, the World Bank, and other trade unions for global economic policy development for member countries. Furthermore, when you are looking at global trade regulation, this is where you have the instrumental tool regulating global trade, which promoting smooth, predictable, and free trade flows. And it helps to merchandise exports growing over 6% annually since GATT era, and total exports in 2022 were 250 times the level of 1948 when it was actually introduced, in a nutshell. Then when you look at again the trade negotiations, World Trade Organization has been a pivotal in facilitating trades negotiation among countries. And this has a historical tariff reductions and expanded to such areas such as service and intellectual property, greatly influencing global trade policies and practices. It's just like now, look at what is happening in Nigeria. The bandits are maiming and killing several people in the north. The US will now have collaboration, with Nigeria to exchange military tools, equipment for oil. So in that terms, the World Trade Organization helped to facilitate this, that US will never suppress Nigeria in terms of, because of their might, that Nigeria is a small nation, they will now extract the oil by force without doing what they are supposed to do. So this balances gender-based violence in terms of a greater mighty nation cannot come down to Nigeria as a smaller nation and intimidate them because they have forces they can use to fight or even maim a country. So in this kind of situation, they bring balance. World Trade Organization bring balance to this. Then when it comes to dispute resolution, the World Trade plays a crucial role in resolving trade conflicts, ensuring the trade flows smoothly. In its dispute settlement system is vital for enforcing rules and maintaining stability in international trade. And looking at also the monitoring trade policies, they have mechanisms to improve transparency, accountability, fairness. That is having the understanding of members' trade policies, thereby assisting or assessing their impact and encouraging compliance with World Trade Organization or agreements. And if we come to again to the technical assistance and training, this is where they assist developing countries through technical cooperation, capacity building initiative, like they will come where you are lacking. Let's say Nigeria, they don't know how IT works. They will now come and provide our services. I give you a capacity training on that initiative that we aid for trade initiative, helping them to integrate into a global trading system that will benefit from trade opportunities. Then you look at the cooperation with other international organizations. The World Trade Organization collaborates with organizations like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, contributing to global economic policy, development, and stability. Like, for example, you can see the World Trade Organization, the World Bank has sponsored a center such as Center of Excellence. You can see the World Trade Organization, the World Bank has sponsored a center such as Center of Excellence in Sustainable Procurement, Environment, and Social Standard to train procurement officers to become professionals to enhance our economy. The same thing, environmental specialists to enhance our environmental aspect, and also the social standard whereby you socialize to intel or to intimate or inform people why you should know this and why you should do this. Then looking at this, you see the structure. When you look at this structure, this infograph, you look at the World Trade Organization. What do they do? Global trade, dispute resolution, trade negotiation, cooperation with other international organizations, resource, goals, technical assistance, and training, monitoring policies. In a nutshell, what I have explained earlier. And when you come about the history of the World Trade Organization, it's something established from the European round of trade negotiation, that's 1986 to 1994, and it will be the successor of this is the Agreement on Tariff Trade, that's the GATT. While GATT focused primarily in trade goods and World Trade Remits, his significant expanded to encompass contemporary trade issues and challenges. The General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, this continues to provide fundamental or foundational framework for global trade in goods, involving with amendments to address modern trade barriers and facilitation measures. And you look at the General Agreement on Trade in Services, GATT, this adapted to cover bordering services sector, bordering services sector, including financial, digital, telecommunication, etc., and etc. A look at the trade-related aspect of international property rights. TRIPS now integrates aspect of digital innovation and intellectual property in trade, considering the rise of digital economy and the importance of patents, copyrights, and trademarks in global commerce. You can see when you look at the rivalry between VDM and Beloved about trademark issue, this one copyright and this one who said that I have made payment, that he owns the business. This help to clarify such issues. Who owns what, who can do what, and who cannot do. With this, somebody mmadụ a ga-emegbu mmadụ ibe ya, ọ na-azọ mmadụ ibe ya ụkwụ unnecessarily. So with this, it helps to balance trade between countries, between states, between neighbors, and so on. And when you look at the additional part, the world trade has been actively involved in e-commerce, environmental stability, global health, and trade facilitation. And when you look at the trilateral agreements, you see the trades in civil aircraft agreement, whereby the Brazil's accession, Brazil agreed to join the agreement in 2023. You see the global aeronautics impact. Brazil is the key player in aeronautics industry. Its accession is significant. You look at the duties elimination signatories. Signatories remove import duties on civil aircraft, excluding military and related products. Since 1980, the agreement operational from January 1st, 1980. Then you look at the enhanced supply chains. Brazil highlights its commitment to WTO's principle and global supply chain integration. And the government procurement agreement, whereby you have the GP parties, that 22 parties comprising 49 World Trade Organization members. You look at the annual market value is $1.7 trillion to international competition. And you check the transparency and competition, ensures fair, open, and transparent competition conditions. Then the agreement has open market with procurement activity worth over $1.7 trillion annually to international cooperation. And GPA 2012, the latest version, is in force. The commitment to further negotiation to reduce discriminatory measures involved the agreement. Understanding government procurement agreement. What is the definition? This agreement on government procurement is a plurilateral agreement within the World Trade Organization framework, which means it is a voluntary agreement between interested World Trade members. The GPA aims to open government procurement markets to international competition, ensuring transparency and fair competition. When they mean international competition, that people can come and bid no matter who you are, and you will be treated fairly. Nigeria can bid anything they want to be with a member country that is a member with the WTO internationally, without them telling them you are a lower country that you are developing and you are not up to this standard to come and be. Everybody have equal rights to bid for anything, and there will be fair competition and transparency. What are the key objectives of GPA? Market access. When you have market access, you are free to expand access to each party's government procurement markets to businesses from other member countries. Like if you go to Ghana accessories, you'll be free, and there will be openness, transparency for you to come to Ghana and do whatever you want to do in their market space. The same thing in Kenya, the same thing in South Africa, the same thing in UK, the same thing in United States. So far, they have an understanding. They are all members of WTO. Transparency and fairness to ensure that procurement processes are conducted in a transparent and non-discriminatory manner. You won't say that this person is from Africa. This is an African country. They are not qualified for a particular project, or to have an MOU with them, or have an understanding in any format. Economic efficiency to promote effective use of resources through international competition and good procurement practices. To promote effective use of resources through international competition and good procurement practices. This is where our oil comes to play. How do we trade our oil to help improve our economic efficiency in Nigeria? Look at Saudi Arabia, look at Iran that is being bombed, look at other countries that have oil. Their people benefit economically from their oil. Development support. This is where you say countries in getting far opportunities in procurement markets. You help them to procure equipment that will help them grow, teach, educate their people. For example, giving internet access. When you have good internet access, you can learn and do many things. Is it the use of Microsoft? Is it the use of AI? Is it the use of preparing your PowerPoint lecture slides? And so on. There are a lot of things you do when you have developing countries. Help them when they are being assisted in getting fair opportunities in procurement markets, whereby there is value for money, every equipment they have procured. This is an example of a case study. The accession of a country like Brazil, which as of November 2023 is the most recent country to join GPA, illustrates the expansion of agreements, reach, and impact. This step demonstrates Brazil's integration into a system promoting fair and transparent procurement, allowing its local businesses to participate in procurement opportunity globally. You can see the beauty of this. Global impact of the GPA. What is the global impact? Impact on the global stage has been substantial with its member countries. Those countries that are members, their procurement market is estimated to be worth 1.7 million, $1.7 trillion. This has led the increase of business opportunities for companies across member states, fostering cross-border partnership and contributing to economic growth. Additionally, it has been a tool for policy reform in many countries, aligning local procurement practices with international standards. Like, for example, we have Innosim producing vehicle locally here, which can be promoted on the global market in international standards, with practices, with procurement practices with international standards that will help him be global in his business and also promote Nigeria as a nation. So when you look at the list I just posted, these are the list of GPA members and observers. We are 22. I think they have increased by now. That means I need to update the new members that have joined. But you can look at the countries that we have, but Nigeria is not here, United States, United Kingdom. But I will have to update the list so that we see the current members for this year. These are the members still on. Then, what are the two principles of GPA? National treatment. This assures that suppliers from GPA countries are treated equally to domestic suppliers. Non-discrimination which prevents GPA parties from discriminating between foreign suppliers from member countries. There is monetary threshold. Contracts must exceed certain values known as monetary threshold to fall under the GPA rules. You can see the SDR means the special drawing right, which is an international type of monetary reserve, currency created by international monetary firm. These thresholds are, when you look at it, you see for goods, services by central entities, we have the 130,000 SDR. For goods, services by sub-central entities, we have 200,000 SDR. For construction services by central entities, we have 5 million SDR. So when you see the SDR, the meaning is special drawing rights. Then you talk about goods, services, utility sectors, 400,000 SDR. And construction services, that utility sectors, you have 5 million SDR. And when you check the offset, that's the Article 5 general principle. It's been prohibited in covered procurement, meaning that parties, including their procuring entities, should not take into account, impose, or enforce any offsets. You look at the non-discriminatory and national treatment, which indicates that parties should not discriminate in position of custom duties and other charges related to importation, nor in methods of levying such duties, charges. Moreover, other import regulations or formalities and measures affecting trade in services should not govern covered procurement. You can also see still in Article 5. Still in Article 5. Still in Article 5. Still in Article 5. Procurement must be conducted openly, ensuring all potential suppliers are aware of opportunities. It must not be secret. And adherence to the GPA, follow GPA rules using methods such as open tendering for equal access, selective tendering based on criteria, and limited tendering in special circumstances, and also upholding integrity, ensure procurement processes are free from conflict of interest and corruption to maintain trust and ethical standards. What are the main features of GPA? Transparency in procurement, review procedures, dispute resolution. Then preamble, you look at the support for development, you look at the transparency and integrity and advancement of e-procurement. Then Article 5, developing country, you have to consider for development in the GPA mandate special consideration for the diverse economic and trade situation of developing countries throughout negotiation, acknowledging unique challenges each may face. Still on that, price preference program are being also clearly stated, offset requirements in procurement notices, gradual inclusion, adding entities or sectors over time, adjusted threshold, setting high thresholds for procurement temporarily. And you look at the general principle, e-procurement standard. Procurement entities are required to conduct electronic procurement with systems that are secure, utilizing authentication and encryption capability with other widely used IT systems, which PPP have already started. Integrity of e-procurement, implement safeguards to ensure the validity and confidentiality of electronic submissions, record accurate timestamps, and restrict unauthorized access. Then look at the tendering procedure under GPA. Parties must publish a public notice inviting participation in tenders. That's where we do advertisement. Tendering methods, it must permit open tendering, selective, limited tendering process, which must adhere to the stipulations of Article 7 to Article 16 of the agreement. So when you look at the opening tendering, all suppliers can submit tenders ensuring broad participation. Selected tendering, only invited suppliers may tender with annual publication, qualified suppliers, and conditions for qualification to ensure non-discrimination. Then limited tendering, direct solicitation of suppliers is allowed under strict conditions, such as no suitable tenders from open or selective procedures, unique some supplier capability, or extreme urgency. Then negotiating with tenderers, that's where contracting entities have to prerogative to engage in negotiation with bidders who have submitted proposals under the condition that this potential for negotiation was explicitly stated with the original tender announcement. Additionally, negotiations are permissible when the assessment of proposals indicates that no single submission is clearly more advantageous than others, provided the equal opportunity, there is equal opportunity is maintained across all bidders. And this negotiation must be conducted with full transparency under strict regulation to prevent any form of discrimination among suppliers as stipulated in Article 14. Deadlines. When you talk about deadlines, there are minimum deadlines requirement. The protocol establishes mandatory minimum time frame that contracting authorities must adhere. These time frames facilitate adequate preparation, submission, and evaluation of bids, thereby ensuring a complex and efficient tendering process. When you refer them to the Article 11, subsection 2. Inclusive deadline setting. To ensure equity and competition deadlines, they for tendering submission must be sufficiently extended. This ensures all interested suppliers, whether local or international, have ample opportunity to prepare comprehensive protocol before the conclusion of the tendering process. And standard minimum periods. The standard minimum period is set at 25 days for inviting application to tender via selective process and 40 days for submission of bids, counting from the announcement date of the invitation to tender as stated. Flexible time limits in specific predefined scenarios. The standard time limit for tender receipt may be adjusted down to 24 days, or in exceptional circumstances, such as urgent requirement, reduced to as few to 10 days. So what are the remedies under the GPA? You have the establishment of a bid challenge mechanism. You see it in Article 20 of the GPA. Mandates the creation of standardized domestic bid challenge system, which ensures the suppliers who have grounds to believe that procurement procedure has deviated from GPA stipulation can seek redress through an independent adjudicatory body. Then the equitable challenge procedure, the GPA requires each signatory to implement impartial, prompt, transparent, and effective process. These are designed to empower suppliers to contest perceived violation of the agreement position, thereby upholding the integrity of the procurement process. Still on the remedy, there is independent review dispute challenge under the Article 20 of the GPA. Then equity in remedial measures, Article 3 of the GPA. Contemporary framework for domestic review, accessibility to review mechanism, guarantee of fair hearing, and also updated guideline for domestic review procedures. You see unrestricted access to proceeding, provision for public proceeding with witness, obligation for decision making, etc. and etc. If you look at the ongoing GPA negotiation, including empowerment of SMEs, data management, sustainable procurement, revisiting resumptions, safety standards. So in conclusion, parties commit to ongoing negotiation to enhance the agreement. We aim to reduce discriminatory measures for broader coverage and mutual reciprocity. Focus on the needs of the developing countries. Negotiation will cover SME support, data sharing, sustainable procurement, reviewing assumptions, and harmonizing safety standards. So, thank you for listening. If there are any questions, you can ask. I still remain Engineer Dr. Michael Igara Imecha. Thank you.